Good evening. Quiz intro to be written. Let's meet the teams. On my right, Luke Kelly, a former holiday rep who was ridiculed by a Eurovision Song Contest winner for his poor taste in music. Rob Cumming, a maths graduate and Rabbit fan who once helped deliver a sheep. And their captain, Julia Hobbs, a marketing graduate who shook hands with Sir Ian McKellen at an Armistead Mopin book signing. United by a passion for probing, they are the Inquisitors. Julia, you beat the Vikings to make it through to tonight's semi-final. How important is it to your team to make the final?
Well, we've been on a journey. It's lovely to get this far, but I think getting one more step would be a beautiful conclusion to what's been a beautiful SQNC.
That took me longer than it should have done. Good luck. You are playing tonight on my left. Frank Paul, the author of an unpublished graphic novel which includes over 200 consecutive frames depicting a solitary, motionless bird. Tom Rowell, a maths graduate who once went on a date with a girl named Lois Lane. And their captain, Lydia Misen, an American Studies graduate who was nicknamed Gluttonous Lyd by her siblings. United by their love of liberation, they are the Escapologists. You beat the Eco-Warriors to get here. And how much does your team want to make the final?
We would absolutely love to win, so it would be great to go one step further, but we've had such a lovely time. Everyone's been really nice, so we're just happy to be here.
Oh, very nice. Well, you won the first thing, the toss, so you'll be going first. Please choose an Egyptian hieroglyph.
Lion, please.
OK. The lion question will be the first of this semi-final. What connects these apparently random clues? Here's the first.
I-E. Can you spell it with an E before the stop? I don't know.
OK, maybe it's... Are they not in the alphabet? Next.
Mozambique.
Let's see. Well, that's the language of French. It's the language of Mozambique French.
OK, no, I think maybe it's how... It's how it's differently spelt in official languages. So I guess because Mozambique's official language is Portuguese, and they have that C with a cedilla in Portuguese.
Okay.
But I mean, Afghanistan. No, maybe.
Do you want to give that?
Yeah, spelling differences.
I'll give that back.
Are they how a certain letter would be spelled differently in an official language of that country?
Well done, Frank. They are exonyms and endonyms in those countries. Afghanistan will be spelt with an E, where we have an I in English. Mozambique, as you say, in Portuguese, the cedilla on that C. Denmark, Danmark, and Brazil, Brazil. You only need to see 2 clues. You get 3 points. Very well calculated. Inquisitors, what would you like?
Eye of Horus, please.
The Eye of Horus. It's the music question. Something connects these audio clues. The first one coming in now.
Thou shalt not make repetitive generic music. 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 Thou shalt not pimp my ride. Thou shalt not
Next,
scream.
please.
Where do you go to, my lovely?
Peter Sarsted.
When you're alone in your bed.
I don't know what connects them. Next, please. Do they have lists of famous people's names in them? Next, please. Yeah, they do. The lyrics all contain the names of famous people or lists of names of famous people.
That's exactly what it is. What did we hear?
I'm not sure about the first one, Scroobius Pip, I'm told by Rob, but I don't know what that means. The second one was Where Do You Go To, My Lovely by Peter Sarsted.
That's right. And who does he talk about in that song?
He talks about the Aga Khan and Marlene Dietrich.
You talk like Marlene Dietrich, you dance like Zizi Jean-Mer, your clothes are all made by Balmain, and there's diamonds and pearls in your hair.
Yeah.
You live in a fancy apartment off the Boulevard Saint-Michel, where you keep your Rolling Stones records, and a friend of Sacha Distel. Just before he died, Peter Sarsted told what I thought was a really lovely story about how he met Sacha Distel, and Sacha Distel said it had been a matter of huge pride for him that he'd been mentioned in that song his whole life. And Peter Sarsted said, but it was only because it rhymed with Boulevard Saint-Michel. That was the only reason. And what else? What was the third piece?
The third one was We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel, which has rafts and rafts of famous people mentioned in it.
Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China.
JFK.
Johnny Ray,
Johnny
exactly.
Ray.
South Pacific, Walter Winchell, Joe DiMaggio. Joe McCarthy, Richard Nixon, exactly.
Yeah, OK.
And so on, up to Marilyn Monroe.
And the last one was Vogue by Madonna.
Yes, all songs that mention many celebrities. Well done. Escapologists, what would you like?
2 reads, please.
2 reads. These are going to be picture clues. Something connects them. The first one coming up now.
Okay, should we go next, please? That is a bit of famous graffiti that started off in the war. Is his name also a number? Shall I do next? Next. They all Chad? Are they all Chad?
They are all Chad. You didn't see the last picture? Hanging Chads from an electoral ballot. What are we looking at?
The country Chad.
Yes.
I think the little man in the graffiti is called Chad.
Yes, Mr. Chad. It was the UK name for that cartoon face. It normally said Kilroy was here underneath. And what about that first clue? Who's that?
First one is Chad Johnson, and he changed his name to Chad Ochocinco because he liked 85 so much.
That's exactly right. That was his jersey number. And what's the problem with the name change?
Ochocinco isn't 85.
No, it isn't. It's just 85. Yes, 85 it should have been. Real name, Chad Johnson. Inquisitors, what would you like?
Twisted Flax, please.
The Twisted Flax. OK, what is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
What is that?
Yes, that's loud. That looks like either Romanian. Oh no, it's Esperanto.
What does it mean?
Yes, that's loud. No, next one.
Next, please. It's Italian, right? Next, please.
That is Latin for it's Latin for me.
Yeah. So these are the words.
That means
These are the words for
these
me in
words are
the Latin.
language, yeah.
Latin for the word me.
Or it's me
in each language.
That's referred to.
Referred
You
to
know
as
that's
me.
not the answer, don't you? I'm afraid that's not it, so I must show the fourth clue to the Escapologists for a possible bonus point.
We think it means the equivalent of it's all Greek to me in different languages.
That's what it is. It is other languages equivalent of it's all Greek to me. So the first one I heard you say is in Esperanto. It's all Volapük to them, which is a even more obscure language than Esperanto. Per me è Arabo. It's all Arabic to me, is what the Italians say. And that's Dutch. It's all Latin to me. C'est du chinois pour moi. All Chinese to me say the French. A bonus point to you then, Escapologists, and what would you like?
Water, please.
Water. OK. What is the connection between these clues? Here's the first.
He's an actor. Next. So they all play the role of someone in a film, or Nelson Mandela, or God, Morgan Freeman. Should we do next? Next. Should we Al? Oh, okay.
He was involved in the album Wonder Milkwood, but no, that wouldn't have. I'm sure Morgan Freeman.
Should we do the next? Next.
He did War of the Worlds.
Was Morgan Freeman in War of the Worlds? Is he a certain character in it? They pioneer something like that?
2 seconds.
Is it people who narrated War of the Worlds?
It is people who narrated War of the Worlds. Very well done. Yes, Tim Pigott-Smith was a great actor, but I think never tried to play Nelson Mandela.
No.
Advisedly, some would say. But he narrated War of the Worlds for a Sunday Times audiobook in the 1990s. Morgan Freeman was the narrator in a Spielberg film in 2005, Richard Burton on the album, and of course Orson Welles, famously on the radio, gave rise to that myth that everyone thought it was real and caused anarchy, but nobody did really. Inquisitors, one question remains for you, the Horned Viper. Something connects these clues. What is it? Here's the first.
Next, please. Next, please.
He was knighted.
He was knighted. Was he the first?
I think they're the first one at least of them to be knighted.
These are the first people in each of those fields to have been knighted.
That's exactly what they are. Didn't need to see Stanley Matthews, the first footballer to be knighted. Well, someone that played football was knighted before, but not for football. And Alexander Korda was the first person to get a UK knighthood in the film business at all. Gordon Richards, champion jockey, 26 times, first jockey to be knighted. And Sir Henry Irving was knighted in what year, do you know?
1868.
1895.
Oh,
The actor manager at the Lyceum Theatre for over 20 years. First in their professions to be knighted. Well done. That means at the end of round one, the Inquisitors have 3 points, the Escapologists have 7. On to round 2, the sequences round. And Escapologists, you'll be going first again. Which hieroglyph would you like?
Horned viper, please.
The horned viper. You'll be seeing the first in a sequence. I want to know what comes forth, and your time starts now.
Next. Oh, script is it? Yes, script is an anagram.
Except there's an E, so... Oh, but I mean, an E is 1 dot in Morse
Next.
code.
Is I 2 dots in Morse?
I is 2 dots in Morse
three.
code. No, but it's
got another E.
It's got another E in it.
It's got another... OK, so there'll be an anagram for receipts with another E in it.
Yeah, OK.
So...
You've got 5 seconds. I need a specific answer.
Tree spice.
3 tree spice.
I will accept tree spice. I'm not 100% sure it's a word. We had creepiest. But you have solved the riddle and you have created a word. Very well done. What is going on here?
So it is the word script with additional numbers of E's written in, and then it's an anagram.
That's right. We are making anagrams of the word, and we're adding an E each time. 1 E, you can make triceps. 2, receipts. And with 3, you can make creepiest.
Yes.
Or, of course, tree spice. Remind me what that is?
A spice derived from a tree.
A spice derived by a tree. We all use them in cookery, don't we? All the time. Very well done. Inquisitors, what would you like?
Lion, please.
Lion. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Next, please. Why do you not? Wherefore also means why. Another one. Next, please.
This is obviously a poem that we have to finish.
Yeah. I believe my vows sometimes go. Anything. So yeah, shall I go with that?
3 seconds.
A summer's day.
Have another go.
How shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day is the right answer. Do you have any idea why?
If that's the first line of the sonnet, are these the next lines going?
No, because it goes, shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
Let me-
Thou art more lovely and more
yeah.
temperate. Rough winds do shake thee.
Darling buds of May.
And summer's leaves hath all too short a date. No, they are the first lines of Shakespearean sonnets 15, 16, 17 and 18.
Wow.
And you wouldn't necessarily know the sonnet numbers, but if you worked out they were Shakespeare sonnets, one that might have come to mind would be Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day, the wonderful Sonnet 18. Well done. Back to you, Escapologists, for a go.
Eye of Horus, please.
The Eye of Horus. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Many a slip.
There's many a slip, twixt cup and lip.
Okay,
There's
shall we do next?
There's twixt cup and lip is a part of...
Next. Ghostwatch. Okay, that was that thing that was on the 80s. Do you know what that is? Okay, it had Michael Parkinson in it. It was like a fake Halloween thing. Next. Nationwide. Were these things that maybe Michael Parkinson presented? Because was he on Nationwide? It's in yeah, but in order of what he presented. Parkinson.
Maybe Parkinson.
Do you go for that? Parkinson?
Not the answer, I'm afraid. Inquisitors, do you want to have a go for a bonus point?
Country File.
And why would that be?
They have a presenter in common.
That's
Yeah.
not it either. You were also thinking a presenter in common. Who were you thinking of?
Maybe, well, Michael Parkinson, maybe.
Well, Michael Parkinson did present Ghostwatch.
It's Michael Aspel? No.
No.
No, it's not, no.
Many a Slip was presented by Roy Plumley. Ghostwatch by Michael Parkinson. Nationwide, among others, by Sue Lawley. I want to hear something that was presented by Kirsty Young, for example, Crime Watch. So what is the sequence?
It's they are all Desert Island Disc presenters.
That's
coming up to
exactly
the most
it. It is
recent.
Desert Island Disc presenters. It's funny that Michael Parkinson and Ghostwatch were the ones that you
That's the
recognised.
only one I've heard of.
But I think it's not probably even his most famous show, Michael Parkinson.
Oh.
He presented Give Us a Clue, I think. Did you ever see Give Us a Clue?
Yeah, with Lionel Blair.
With Lionel Blair, exactly. He was so brilliant at charades, Lionel Blair. Who can forget the sight of the opposing team captain, Una Stubbs, open-mouthed as Lionel tried to pull off 12 Angry Men in under 2 minutes? Amazing. He was always wonderful to watch. But in this case, it wasn't just Michael Parkinson, but subsequent presenters of Desert Island Discs. I wanted to hear something like Crime Watch for Kirsty Young. So no points there. But Inquisitors, you may have a question.
Water, please.
Water. What will come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Next, please. Oh, what's on the number 4 keyboard? On a keyboard? Exclamation mark. So it's a dollar sign. A dollar sign.
No, $4 signs.
$4 signs for the perfect answer, but dollar signs are correct. And why?
These are if you press Shift and the number keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, on a keyboard, computer keyboard, that's what you get.
That's exactly it. Exclamation mark, quotes, pounds and dollar signs appear above 1, 2, 3, 4 on a UK QWERTY keyboard. Well done. Back to you, Escapologists, for the last choice of the round.
Twisted flax, please.
Twisted flax. What would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
It's a window. There you go. Next, please. Oh, okay, so this is Tetris.
Maybe.
That's Tetris, but what was the letters? Next.
You just can say.
Yeah, that looks like a T.
So you can make it with 4 Tetris cubes. What's the next letter?
L?
Well, it's going in alphabetical order, so...
Oh, none of them? Can you make it
No,
work?
you can, yeah, you can if you miss out that... Well, they have to be all connected, I guess.
2 seconds.
3 vertical cubes and a horizontal cube in L.
I'm afraid that is not it. Inquisitors, do you want to have a go for a bonus point?
I'll try almost like the flip of the S one. So 2 and then 2 and Z.
That is the right answer. Well done. Now, I'm surprised because I think, Frank, you noticed what the sequence was. What is it?
It's letters you can make with 4 sort of Tetris cubes in alphabetical order.
That's right. And it's actually, as I understand, I've never played Tetris, but I think they're referred to by those letters, these particular Tetris pieces. The Tetris shapes are called O, S, T, and so on, and the next alphabetically would be Z, which is represented by that. And you may also have the last question of the round. The 2 reads, what would come forth in this sequence? Here's the first.
Next, please. I don't know. Forrest Whitaker was also film. Could be. Next, please. Yes, it might be, because I think the Wolf of Matthew McConaughey then won an Oscar for Dallas Buyers Club.
So who's next?
So who won?
Two seconds.
Is it
Hurry up, please.
someone, a film?
No, that's much too long. Escapologists, do you know for a possible bonus point?
We're going to guess The Revenant, Tom Hardy.
Oh, no. It's The Revenant, Leonardo DiCaprio. Let me tell you what's going on in this fiendish sequence. Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated 4 times for the Oscar for Best Actor, and he won for The Revenant. But every other year he was nominated, these are the winners. So, Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated for The Aviator the year that Jamie Foxx won for the film Ray.
Yeah.
When Leonardo DiCaprio was nominated for Blood Diamond, Forrest Whitaker won for The Last King of Scotland, which was a phenomenal performance, and rightly, let's be honest. And The Wolf of Wall Street that year, yes, Matthew McConaughey won for Dallas Buyers Club, but it was the year that DiCaprio was nominated for The Wolf of Wall Street. So we're going through his nominations towards the one he actually won for. Together, you might have got there.
Yeah.
That means at the end of round 2, the Escapologists have 9 points, the Inquisitors have 9 points. And now for a pair of semi-final connecting walls. The first will go to you, Inquisitors. Would you like lion or water?
Lion, please.
OK, you have 2.5 minutes to solve the lion wall, starting now.
Hera, Hestia, Poseidon, Demeter. Okay, Hermes is there as well. Poseidon, Hestia, Demeter. Oh, there's Leto as well. Okay. Leto.
Semtex, C4, TMT, and info. Or Cordite, Semtex, C4, TMT. Okay.
I think words used.
Oh,
so it's
hang
Hera.
on. Hang on. These are courier companies.
Yes, go for it. Right, so we have Demeter.
Take time now.
Well, what do you think the other ones could
Or
be?
Orca.
Actors. Jared Leet.
Or is there a wordy thing in here if we add letters?
Hera Hestia.
Are they the ends of words? Like Orca, Hestia, Leto, and Hera?
Or what can you put in front of them? And what's Coren? Coren.
There's a Tor. Is it a geographical thing?
Tor, Orc,
Get the gods ones, try the gods.
Demeter,
Just get them ready.
Poseidon,
Hera Hestia.
Don't press.
Hera. But then what are we left with if it's Hestia? Hestia.
Those four.
Those four. Leto, Ventura, Let, Vent. Pose. Let, Vent. No. Poseidon. Hestia. Poseidon?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I think Demeter, Leto, Hera, Hestia.
That's it. You've solved the wall. Very well done. That is 4 groups.
Okay.
And what about the points for the connections? Tell me about the first group. C4, Semtex, Cordite, ANFO.
They are all types of explosives.
They're all explosives. Simple as that. And the next group, starting DX.
They are courier companies, delivery companies.
DX, Hermes, TNT, Yodel, all courier companies. And what about the next one? Hestia, Hera, Leto, and so on.
Greek goddesses.
They are all Greek goddesses. I think where you got confused early on, there are many, many Greek deities in the
Yes.
wall, but only 4 goddesses. And the next group, Poseidon, Torin, Orca, Venture.
Naval warcraft, submarines. No.
Vessels.
Vessels.
That is not it, I'm afraid. You need something very specific there. They are all sea vessels in films. They're fictional ones. The SS Venture is in King Kong.
Right.
Orca, do you know what that is?
That's the in Jaws.
In Jaws, Roy
Yes.
Scheider's boat. As in, we're going to need a bigger one.
It needs to be bigger.
Poseidon from the Poseidon Adventure. And HMS Torin, do you know what that's from?
I don't know.
In Which We Serve. An Noel Coward film, 1942. They are fictional sea vessels. But you did find all 4 groups. You gave me 3 connections. That is a total of 7. Let's bring in the Escapologists now, give them the other wall, the water wall, and see how they get on. You've got 2.5 minutes to solve the water wall, starting now.
I think I was a sort of disease. It's
So
an
is
episode of South
lupus.
Park as well.
Mono is. And
And Ollie is a skateboarding move.
it is. I'm not sure about anything else. What lettuce and lovage can we? We'll do some things that look
Well, lettuce, spelled like that, is a girl's name,
Okay.
but I don't know.
Equus is a play
Yeah,
featuring
Peter Schaefer.
Dane. Yeah.
And so is Amadeus. So there are
Okay.
Peter Schaefer plays. Maybe that's one, I don't know.
Lovely.
Lucky.
Okay. Okay, so we've got lupus, pink eye, mono, croup. I've tried those 4 on
Okay.
right. So one of these.
These look like the beginnings of words, mono something, aria something,
Okay.
but I don't know what.
Okay.
Monomania, monopoly, boss, probably no. Argot is slang, there are the things meaning slang. Avis means bird in Latin. P.S. Egan is a playwright, he created Tom and Jerry, not,
Okay.
not the cartoon characters, he wrote Life in London.
Okay. That's a carve. Is there anything else? An anagram that we can see?
So, groat.
Okay. None of those would be connected to each other. Okay. Well, let's try some more of these.
So,
Oh, well, okay. Let's. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we've got visa,
Ariel Starling, Game of Thrones, I don't know if that-
and it's spelled with a Y.
Yeah, it is spelled with one, isn't it? P.S. Egan, are there any other P.S.'s? No.
Mavis, Margot, Maria.
Lovely.
Well done.
Megan.
Megan.
And Megan.
And Molly, yeah, right. Go for it.
Okay.
What are the others going to be?
I don't know.
Maybe try those 4 on the
These 4. Okay.
What are the others going to be? Think about what the others are going to be.
Okay, so lupus, boss. I think it's a word one.
20
Crave.
seconds and 1 life.
It's lupus. Lupus means wolf. Are there any other things that mean animals in Latin? Maybe Avis means bird. Lupus means wolf.
Boss.
Well,
You've solved the wall with 10 seconds to go. Very well done. What about the connections? Lettuce and Lovage, Equus, Black Comedy, Amadeus.
They Peter Schaefer plays.
Yes, they all are. Lettuce and Lovage, sort of comedy about a tour guide in a stately home. And the next green group, Pink Eye and so on.
Illnesses?
Yeah, they're colloquial names for diseases, exactly so. And the next one, Lupus and so on.
Latin names for animals.
That's right. Do you know the animals?
Lupus is a wolf, Avis is a bird. I'm not quite sure about the others.
No, I don't know the others.
Deer and cow.
Oh.
The other two. And the last group, Egan, Ollie, Argo and Aria.
If you put an M before them, they're girls' names.
That's exactly right. Megan, Molly, Margot and Maria. Well spotted. So that is 4 points for the connections as well. And the bonus, a maximum of 10. Very well done. Let's have a look at the scores. The Inquisitors have 16 points. The Escapologists have 19. So it's fastest fingers first to the final as we go into the missing vowels round. Fingers on buzzers teams. I can tell you that the first group are all TV programmes merged with American states. Escapologists?
News at Tennessee.
That's it. Inquisitors?
The Illinois.
Yes, it is. Escapologists?
Panorama, Massachusetts.
Yes, it is. Escapologists?
Only Connecticut.
Of course. Next category, their surnames are types of cake. Escapologists?
Crocodile Dundee.
Yep. Escapologists?
Irvin Welsh.
The best cake. Escapologists?
Ezra Pound.
The worst cake. Escapologists?
Keith Lemon.
Not for me, thanks. Next category, words whose letters are in alphabetical order. Escapologists?
Abhors.
Yes, it is. Escapologists?
Almost.
Yep. Escapologists?
Bijou.
Is correct. Escapologists?
40.
That's right. Next category, performers and their acts. Inquisitors?
Dynamo and Magic.
Well done. That one was Lee, Mac and Comedy, but the bell has gone for the end of the quiz, and I can tell you that an excellent team will be sadly missed, finishing in second place with 18 points are the Inquisitors. But the winners with an incredible 30 points are the Escapologists. Absolutely brilliant quizzing in that last round. Very well done. You are all in the final. Inquisitors, it's been lovely to have you. You have been a brilliant team, full of sparkle. I'm sorry you have to go home. And that's it. The lineup is decided. Do tune in next week for the grand final. In an exciting twist, I won't be here. But if you happen to be a fan of Kendall Jenner, then why do you watch this show? Goodbye.